India and abroad. We will start our program with prayer by members of Sri Kamakshi Sri Vidya Samiti. Please.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. We are rendering a prayer to Ardhanarishwara Shiva from Kalhana's Rajatarangini.
Bhagavato Jivva Pritaspandini Vimnatam Sadrishaksharamapi Vadantevam Idam Parvara Vedam Parna Saviranashana Tapo Mahatya Mukshorado Pashitavatayiva Sampratikritam Tanmatra Vritti Bhagihi Premnaivadamitam Chara Guru Prapeyamatmastutihi Evam Deva Vadubhase Shruti Sukhaha Shrunvatya Parnavata.
We thank Kamakshi Sri Vidya Samiti. They are live from Sri Shankaramatam, Malleshwaram, founded with the blessing of Sri Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal in 2014, with the main aim of spreading the values of Sanatana Dharma. They conduct regular Sampradaya classes for children and impart training in various traditional practices. We thank all the members of Sri Kamakshi Sri Vidya Samiti for coordinating from different locations, and this time from Malleshwaram, Bangalore, and look forward to seeing them in our future programs. With our namaskarams to His Holiness Sri Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal, and with his blessings, we continue with our Kashmir Cultural Heritage Lectures, fifth in our series by Sri P.R. Kannan. Sri P.R. Kannan is known to us all as this is his third of 6 lectures in total. Sri Kanchi Math has been in the forefront, modestly working with the sole aim of national integration, spiritual enlightenment, and spreading the uniqueness as Kashmir is our cultural heritage. We thank Kanchi Math for giving us this opportunity to organize, and also thank all our speakers participating in this ongoing series. We are also live in Twitter and Instagram from today's program. We thank our viewers for sharing all their views with us later. We will talk about that bit later. And today's program is Sri Kannanji's second and final on Rajatarangini session. When it comes to Kashmir, we keep hearing about Kalhana, 12th century, and Rajatarangini, but not all of us get an opportunity to search and read. But here is one with his great explanation in just 1 hour. We are grateful to Sri Kannanji for all his efforts. Let's go over to Sri Kannanji. Yes, sir.
Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दसद्गुरुम्। अगजाननपद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीरामसौमित्रिजटायुवेद षडाननादित्यकुजार्चिताय श्रीनीलकण्ठाय दयामयाय श्रीवैद्यनाथाय नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। सर्वत्र गोविन्दनाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द। श्री जगदम्बिकायै जय जय। सद्गुरु स्वामिनः जय। We are continuing with our presentation on Raja Tarangini, Kalhana's Raja Tarangini. Kalhana was the poet from Kashmir of 12th century. He has recorded his observations of the history of kings of Kashmir, Raja Tarangini, the river of Kashmir, right from Mahabharata times up to 1148 AD. We have seen a few kings during our last lecture, including Ashoka, Nara, and others. A few good kings, a few vicious kings, etc. Now, this assignment of lecturing on Raja Tarangini, which has been given to me by our Acharya, is perhaps the toughest in my career. To summarize Raja Tarangini in a way which we want to do is extremely tough. This might be appearing as a history class, because that is what it is. It is a history, recorded history of the kings of Kashmir and their kingdoms. In fact, most of the epic, most of the poem, Sanskrit poem by Kalhana, relates to the insurrections faced by the kings, the conspiracies with the foreign powers, the evil influences of ministers, even female influences, and so on. The palace intrigues, and so on. Now, we are not going into that. We are keeping away from that. Most of Raja Tarangini is not being covered in our lecture. What we are covering is what Raja Tarangini is referring to by way of the king's contribution to religious, spiritual, cultural, artistic, and literary heritage of Kashmir, which the kings have contributed in a large measure. Even the vicious kings have contributed to it in a large measure. That is the beauty of it. That is what Kalhana is at pains to bring out. That is what we are trying to go into. We are studiously trying to avoid the other palace intrigues, etc., etc. Now, we came up to Taranga 3 in our last lecture. Now we are going into Taranga 4. Taranga 4 starts with a king called Durlabha Vardhana. We are in AD 596. Here we find that the bhakti for Vishnu temples has made a start. So far it was entirely worship of Shiva and Devi. Now we find that Durlabha Vardhana constructed a temple for Vishnu called Durlabha Swami, and later on he was followed by King Durlabhaka, and he ruled the kingdom like Indra, he says. In fact, Kalhana refers to the kingdom, certain kingdoms as Indra's kingdoms. This is one of them. Shashasa Vasavasamaha Tato Vasumatim Kriti. He built Pratapapura. We have seen, he was also known as Pratapaditya II. We have seen that kings have been constructing townships, cities, in their names. So this was Pratapapura. like Indra's city. Then he was followed by King Vajraditya. He was also known as Chandrapida. Pida means crown. So Chandra's crown, Chandrapida. Very virtuous king. He constructed a Vishnu temple called Tribhuvaneshwara Swami. And the very interesting feature of this episode is that when his ministers decided a certain piece of land for this temple, they didn't realize that they have to acquire some parcel of land from a shoemaker. Now the shoemaker refused to hand over the land. I mean, what the kind of difficulties we are nowadays facing in acquisition of land, even in those days kings have faced. Beautifully, Kalhana records some very minor incident with great detail. So here he says that the shoemaker refused. Now the ministers did not know what to do. They took up the matter with the king. The king went personally to the shoemaker's house. In those days, he was called an untouchable. He went personally to his house, and even then, the shoemaker had reservations about giving his plot of land. But he said, "Since you have come personally, I cannot say no." And he utters a beautiful shloka. He says, "Shvavigrahena dharmena pandusuno purayatha dharmikatvam tatha tedye maya sprishyena vikshitam." Maya asprishyena vikshitam. I am asprishya. I am untouchable. Now today I have seen, like the dog which followed Dharmaputra when he was ascending to Swargarohana. At that time, how the dog witnessed dharmikatvam, his steadfast adherence to dharma. Like that, I am witnessing your steadfast adherence to dharma, because the king could have called him and then forced him to part with his land, which he didn't do. He went personally to his house and he requested him, and he acceded to his request, though he was not very keen. Now, his guru, his office, the king's guru, the king's officer, they also built temples. He meted out punishment to the guilty using very ingenious divine methods of investigating crime. This is one new feature which Kalhana talks about. We are going to see more of this in case of some more kings. And this particular good king, Chandrapida, was killed by a Brahmana by sorcery, Abhichara Prayoga. The person who killed him was his own brother through a Brahmana, Abhichara Prayoga. Now, the practice of killing kings through witchcraft, through Abhichara Prayoga, starts from here. The next king was his own brother who got him killed, Tarapida. And here Kalhana makes a very pithy remark. He says, how can this fellow thrive when he has killed his own brother? Beautiful shloka. Yo yam parapakarana srijatyupayam tenaiva tasya niyamena bhaved vinashaha. When he is so keen on doing apakara, para apakaranai, his own brother, then tasya niyamena bhaved vinashaha, his vinasha is certain. And he is giving an example. Dhumam prasauti nayanandhyakaram yamagnihi bhutvam budastashamaye salilaistameva. Just as when fire gives out smoke, the smoke hurts the eye, but the same smoke turns into water and puts out the fire. Same way, this fellow got killed. This Tarapida was also got killed. And Tarapida's brother, Muktapida, came as king. His other name was the famous Lalitaditya, the famous king, a great victor, a great king. His period is 724 to 760 AD. We are there now. He was a big conqueror. He went on conquering several kingdoms right up to Karnataka in the south. And he had poets like Vakpati, Rajashri, Bhavabhuti come to his court from Kanyakubja. And during his triumphant tour, Kalhana makes a mention of his visit to Ujjain, Mahakaleshwara. Beautifully he says, beautiful shloka. Vishatam dashanashrenyaha तस्यावन्तिषु दन्तिनां महाकालकिरीटेन्दु ज्योत्स्नया खण्डिता param. That is, when he entered Avanti, that is Ujjain, the tusks of his elephants were outshone by the light of moon on the crest of Mahakaleshwara. That is how he depicts his visit to Mahakaleshwara. Now, he was so sure of his victory wherever he went. You know what he did? Even at the beginning of his tour, he set up a town called Sunishtitapura. Sunishtita. He was so sure of his victory, so he established a town called Sunishtitapura. He also established another town called Darpitapura because he was so proud. He was so proud. He established a town called Darpitapura. Darpa means pride. And there he put up a temple for Vishnu, Keshava. At the end of the conquest, when he returned to his kingdom, he set up a town called Phalapura. Phala means fruit. In several places, he also set up Shiva temples. He is the one who is known for setting up the famous Martanda temple, Lalita Aditya, Lalitapura. That place was known as Lalitapura in his time. He set up Martanda Sun Temple. And for maintaining the Sun Temple, which is lying in ruins today, like we saw the other day, for maintaining that temple, he donated Kanyakubja kingdom, which he had conquered. Lalitakhe pure tasminne Adityaya sabhupatihi sagramam Kanyakubjo rvi abhimanorjito dadau sokhanditashma prakaram prasadantar vyadhattacha. For the Sun Temple, he established a beautiful, strong compound wall. Martandas adbhutam data. Martandasya adbhutam data. Drakshas phecham tapattanam. He established a town full of grapes, grape wines. Natatpuram nasagramo nasasindhur nasornavaha nasadvipostiyatrasau pratishtham nami nirmame. There was no town, no village, no river, no part of the ocean, no island where he did not establish his conquest. In Bhuteshwara temple in Nandi Kshetra, a very famous one, we have been seeing this mention of Nandi Kshetra right from the beginning. Bhuteshwara temple and Jeshta Rudra temple, both are famous in Nandi Kshetra. There, he gave 11 crores of coins to Shiva, and he established a town called Parihasapura to ridicule Indra, to ridicule Devendra. He established a town called Parihasapura, and he put up a temple for Parihasa Keshava. Parihasa Keshava, a silver image of Vishnu, 84,000 palas of silver he dedicated. And Mukta Keshava, another gold image of Vishnu, 84,000 tolas of gold. Mahavaraha, Govardhanadhara, like this. Lot of gold and silver to several devatas in several temples he dedicated. His queen, Kamalavati, she established Kamala Keshava temple and so on. His other officers and so on. He excavated ruins and he found old images of Keshava built by Rama and Lakshmana from Ramayana time. He found them and he established temples for them. Now, another very interesting incident in his life is brought out in great detail by Kalhana. He takes a lot of pleasure in recounting this detail. It is indeed very interesting. What he says, one day during his conquest, when he was very far from his kingdom, he asked his attendant for cherry fruits. Cherry fruits were common only in Kashmir, not in other places. He asked for cherry fruits. Immediately, cherry fruits came to his presence, though they are not at all available in that area. And the person who brought the cherry fruits was none other than Indra's messenger. Now, he was greatly surprised and he asked, "Who are you? How did you bring?" and all that. Then the emissary explained his past story. He said, "The glory of the charity, the dana, which you have done in your previous birth, now that Rina, that debt Indra is paying back. What is the debt? Now he says that is the fruit of dana. Now, fruit of dana he is explaining here. You were an ordinary agricultural laborer in your last previous birth. One day you became very exhausted, very hungry in summer, and you had no food with you, and then suddenly your boss sent you some food and water, luckily, at the right time, and you were about to consume that food and water when a very hungry Brahmana came there, and you gave part of your food and water to that Brahmana, though you were very hungry and thirsty, and the person who was by your side, your colleague, he prevented you from giving the dana. Look at the factors which Kalhana is bringing out, how dana should be made. In spite of that fellow preventing you, you made that dana, and that dana resulted, that single dana resulted in 100 obligations on the part of Indra. So he has got 100 debts to you. Now, one of those debts is repaid today by bringing you this cherry fruit. Don't exhaust all your 100. Well, you have got only 100. Some have already been exhausted. Patre prasanna chittasya kale danena tena te akhanditanam ajnanam shatamasit trivishtape. Shatam ajnanam shatam trivishtape asit. There are 100 such obligations in Swarga. Trivishtapa is Swarga. धातुस्तत्तदभीत्थितं किल फलं कालेति बालोऽप्यसौ राजन् दानमहीरुहो विजयते kalpadrumadinapi. Even if your dana may appear very small, balapi, like a young plant, but the fruit of that young plant is more than kalpavriksha. Dana mahiruho, the fruit, the vriksha, the tree of dana, kalpadrumadinapi vijayate. It exceeds, excels even kalpavriksha. Now this king, Lalitaditya, he had with him a person called Chankuna who knew alchemy. So he was able to convert base metals into gold. So that was a great advantage. So he used that expertise. He brought a lot of gold. Now another incident, even a very intelligent, very clever king like Lalitaditya was once taken for a ride. After all, when you go to different countries in conquering different kingdoms, you face several experiences. Now that is recounted by Kalhana. Now he was caught in a desert by the representative of another king who was guiding him there, who said that if you take this route, it will be a shortcut and you can go and win that, conquer that kingdom. So he was misled. And there in the middle of the desert, in a hot summer, he and his army were left with no water. And the fellow who brought him there was laughing. Now, I wanted you to die here. That's what he says. Now, this fellow, this king, was misled. Now, what did he do? Ityuktva sombunushkrashtam kuntenorvim vyadarayat ujjihirshuhu vitastambhaha shulene vatrilochanaha. With his kunta, with his spear, he struck the ground, and because of his yogic power, water came out gushing forth from the ground in a desert just by applying his spear. And he is giving an example how Ujjihirshuhu Vitastambhaha, like the waters of Vitasta river came up, Shulene Vatrilochanaha, when Shiva applied his shula on the ground, immediately Vitasta river came up from Patala. Vitasta river is nothing but Uma, and Uma had gone down to Patala and she came up. That story we will see later on in another lecture. Now, Atojagama Patala Lakshmi Leela Smita Chavihi Rasatalat Saritsakam Sainyanam Jibitashaya. This water also came from Rasatala, he says, from Patala, along with Patala Lakshmi. So it was like Patala Lakshmi only. Water in a desert, it is like Patala Lakshmi only. Now, there are long passages of the speech of this king on methods and characteristics of good governance. A lot of them I cannot go into any quotations from them now for want of time, but they're worth reading. A lot of them are there. Good governance. Then he talks about how he conducted his governance, and he was ruthless when he suspected any enmity. Even in distant mountainous regions, he never allowed wealth accumulation. That he was very clear. Aparadham vinapyatra dandya gahvaravasinaha. Gahvaravasina means those who were living in caves in mountains. Dehi sambritavittaha surdurbhedyaha durga samshrayaha. Once you allow them to accumulate wealth, they will construct fort there and they will violate the king's authority. So he was very clever that way. That such a king, this is the beauty of Kalhana's description. Such a king, such a virtuous, such a valiant king, because of Kali's effect, he says, because of Kali Yuga, he also turned into evil ways. This kind of description we find in the case of many kings. And you know what he did? He once asked his ministers to burn a city because it was carrying the name of Pravarasena, an earlier king. An earlier king had built Pravarapura, his town, and he said, no, just for fun. I don't want any city in his name, go and burn it. Luckily, his ministers did not act as per his instructions. Next day, he felt very bad. He asked his minister, is the town burnt? Then they said, no. Only a small forest was burnt. The town is safe. Then he said, it was good that you didn't do that. So this kind of failings, weaknesses on part of kings, a lot of them Kalhana goes into. The next king was Kuvalayapida, his son, Lalitaditya's son. He was like a Raja Rishi. Vidanti jantavo hanta pachyamanastyanatmanaha avastham kalasudene kritam tam kshane kshane. This is his statement, that Raja Rishi's statement. He says, like a great cook, in the process of cooking, he goes on keep putting you on the fire and cooks like that, putting the food on fire and cooks like that. The cook all the time is cooking you all the time. So you have to be careful. You never know when the fire will go out. So stick to dharma. Abhagna shama samvega labdha siddhir naradhipaha Shri Parvatadau Adyapi Bhavyanameti Drikpatham. Abhagna Shama Samvega. His Shama, his mental, his constraint of mind, his conquest of mind, his Shama, Abhagna, was continuous, was never broken. So because of that, he achieved self-realization. Labdha Siddhihi. Shri Parvatau Adyapi, even today, that is even in Kalhana's time, he says, you can see him in the mountains. Then he was followed by another king who was just the opposite of him, very cruel. He sold many of his citizens to mlechas, introduced the practices of mlechas in his kingdom. We find this kind of alternate good and bad things happening in the kingdom. Then he was followed by a king called Jayapida, and he was Lalitaditya's grandson. He also went on a conquest like his grandfather, and very valiant king. When he returned after his conquest, you know what he did? He killed his brother-in-law, Jajja, because he had usurped power in his absence. See, this is how kings should be, he is showing us. Kings should be merciless if they want to be kings. Then he built quite a few cities, he established quite a few temples, he and his wife. The most interesting, important thing is he brought a lot of scholars to his kingdom. Utpatti bhumau deshesmin dura dura tirohata kashyapena vitasteva tena vidyavatarita. Like Kashyapa brought Vitasta to Kashmir, Vitasta river, like this. Vidya, which had gone away, dura dura tirohita, gone away to distant lands. He brought them. He brought scholars from distant lands. he brought Mahabhashya. This is frequent mention of Mahabhashya we find in Kalhana story. A lot of kings have encouraged study of Mahabhashya, grammar of Sanskritam. Deshantaradagamaya vyachakshana shamapatihi pravartaya vichinnam Mahabhashyam samandale. He broke the tradition which had been broken. He has re-established it by bringing scholars of Mahabhashya and other kings, other scholars, Udbhata, Damodar, Gupta. He mentioned so many names, and he says he was more known as a Pandita rather than a king. Tavat Pandita Shabde Bhut Raja Shabdad Api Pratha. He built a deep lake. You know, these kings also undertook a lot of welfare measures for the common man. Deep lake with the help of Rakshasas, because ordinary people cannot dig so deep. So he brought Rakshasas from Lanka. At that time, one king, Vibhishana was king in Lanka. With his help, he brought Rakshasas, because Rakshasas have extraordinary power, physical strength. So he built a deep lake, and then he built a town called Jayapura, and so on. He constructed a lot of temples for Shiva, Vishnu. He had a lot of personal adventures. Apart from his conquest with his army, personally, all alone, he used to go incognito into various kingdoms and perform acts which are extremely valiant. He was known for it. A lot of them have been recorded by Kalhana. Very dangerous pursuits. Then, in course of time, he also became a cruel king. This is the interesting part. In course of time, he also became a cruel king. He killed even Brahmanas and confiscated their property. It's very difficult to believe. Now, Kalhana says this, we have to believe. Then, what happened? Brahmanas from Thulamulya, nowadays known as Thulamulya, they came to his assembly, they protested. When they protested, this incident is described very nicely by Kalhana. When they protested, this king shouted at them. During the protest, the Brahmana said, Manu, Mandhata, Rama, such kings never insulted Brahmanas, but you are the first one to insult Brahmanas. Then the king called them scoundrels. You scoundrels, subsisting on my arms, you talk like rishis to advertise your spiritual power. Then one Brahmana became very angry. His name was Ittila. He said, if you are a great king, we are also great rishis. If you consider yourself a great king, then we consider ourselves great rishis. That is what he said. Then the king became even more angry, and he started dishonoring them even more. Ahasta Vishwamitro va Vasishtho va Taponidhi Tamagastyo thava kimsya iti darpena tam nripaha darpena papracha. The king asked them with great arrogance. You know what he said? Are you Vishwamitra or Vasishtha or Agastya? Then the Brahmana's rage became even more. You know what Kalhana describes? He said he was full of tejas, like a cobra with a raised hood. You know what he said? Bhavan yatra Harishchandraha Trishankur Nahushopi va Vishwamitra mukhe vyokam tatraiko bhavitam kshamaha. If you consider yourself like Harishchandra, Trishanku or Nahusha, then I consider myself like Vishwamitra. Then the king became even more angry. Then he laughed and said, Vihasyo vachadam braja Vishwamitra adikopataha Harishchandra dayo nashtaha tvayikrudbheta kim bhavet. Because of Vishwamitra's anger, rage, Harishchandra suffered a lot. We all know Harishchandra's story. Now, because of your anger, what is going to happen to me? This was his question. Then the Brahmana said, he became very angry. Padinat adayan yurvim tatakrudhyo bhadadvijaha mayikrudhe kshana deva brahmadanda patennakim. Padinat adayan urvim. He struck the ground with his hand, and he, like a promise, in a rage. He was carried away by rage. And he said, what he said? If I become really angry, do you think that Brahmadanda will not fall on you? when he says Brahmadanda, he is talking about Vasishtha's Brahmadanda in his fight with Vishwamitra. All of us know the story of the great fight which took place between Vishwamitra and Vasishtha, and Vasishtha, with his, just by using his Brahmadanda, conquered Vishwamitra. All his army, all his power was exhausted. They were all killed. At that time, Vishwamitra uttered this famous shloka in Valmiki Ramayana. Digbalam Kshatriya Balam Brahmatejo Balam Balam Ekena Brahmadandena Sarvastrani Hatani Me. With one Brahmadanda, this Brahmana has negatived, has exhausted all my astras. Great. So same way, now he says, do you think by my anger, Brahmadanda will not fall on you? Then the king started laughing even more. Tachrutva vihadan raja kopad brahmanam abraviti patat brahmadando so kimadhyapi vilambate. Okay, let Brahmadanda fall on me. Why are you delaying? He said. Now Brahmana really lost himself, and he said, Nanvayam patito jalme tyatha viprena bhashite. Jalma, he addressed the king as Jalma. Jalma means, you wretch, you wretch. Nanu ayam patitaha, let the Brahmadanda fall now. As soon as he said that, a Kanaka Danda, a golden pole from the ceiling, fell on the king, and after a few days he died. Rajnya Kanakadandonge Vitanas Khalito Patate. So, by creating enmity with powerful Brahmanas, what happens? Kalhana talks like this on many occasions. This kind of reference he makes on many occasions. Now, after the king died, his mother, Amrita Prabha, she built a temple, Amrita Keshava, for his salvation. Now, his son, he was a very able king, and there are lots of other kings, not very important. Then there is a king called Ajita Peda. Many temples were built by him and his relatives, and he refurbished the temple for Mamma Swamin. This is Mamaleshwara temple, which is on the way to Amarnath. Amarnath Mahatma, we saw this Mamaleshwara. So there he gave 85,000 cows to Brahmana in Dhanam during the temple ceremony. 85,000 cows, and each cow 5,000 dinars. Now he also adds, Kalhana also adds, don't think that he was a very good king by this description. His relatives plundered the kingdom. His relatives plundered the kingdom, and yet they were also building temples. They were also munificent. They were building temples and so on. I mean, this is how these things happen. Then we move on to the next Taranga 5. Here we start with the great king, Avantivarma. The great king, this is described as golden period, golden age of Kashmir. Utpala dynasty. The dynasty changes now. From Gonanda, we came to some other dynasty, now Utpala dynasty. He emptied the entire treasury by giving away to poor people and to Brahmanas. Very virtuous king, very valiant. He defeated all the rebels in battle. Kashmir's history of kings is full of rebellion, internal rebellion, external rebellion. Now he defeated all the rebels in battles. Then he himself and his stepbrothers, relatives, they all set up many temples. Lot of poets and scholars were encouraged. He mentions names of poets: Muktakana, Shivaswami, Anandavardhana, famous poet, Ratmakara. The king founded Avantipura, and even before he became king, he built the temple of Avantiswami. This Avantiswami and Avantishwara temples are to be seen even today in ruins. Reference was made in earlier lectures to these temples: Avantipura, Avantiswami, Avantishwara. After he became king, he constructed the temple of Avantishwara. Avantishwara is Shiva temple, Avantiswami was Vishnu temple. Then he put up silver Abhisheka tubs in Shiva temple, Tripureshwara, Bhutesha, Vijayesha. And his stepbrothers, two of them, They went to Kailasa in their own bodies. Bhutva Vatulata Channa Prabhavanubhavo Bhuvi Gatau Savigraha Veva in their own bodies. Harava Sadgre Sabhyatam. Then Kalhana praises the cooperation enjoyed by him with his minister. The cooperation was unheard of, unseen before. Parasparamανutpanna manjukalushya dushanau na drishtau na shrutau anyau tadrishau rajamantrinau. Because of that, they were able to bring good governance. Animal slaughter was completely banned in the kingdom. Then, because in the kingdom, agriculture was not given proper attention by so many kings earlier, what had happened was, lot of Kashmir, if you remember, the whole kingdom of Kashmir has been reclaimed by Vishnu himself when he broke the mountain and drained water. That's what we saw. Now, again, there was a lot of spread of water, less of land and more of water. So now this king, Avantivarma, was the first king to undertake a lot of engineering works, a lot of dams, a lot of canals, a lot of water works in Vitasta river and in Sindhu river, diversion of rivers, stone embankments, etc. How he did all this? He got a siddha called Suya. न कश्यपेनोपकृतं न यत्सङ्कर्षणेन वा हेलया मण्डले मुष्मिन् तत्सुय्येन सुकर्मणा. That great Suya, Helaya, with ease, without any great strain, he achieved a lot of things. Something which was not achieved by Kashyapa, something which was not achieved even by Sankarshana, he achieved. Idrishair dharma vrittantaihi pravartita kritodayah avanti devah patisme mandhateva vasundharam. He is all praise for the king. Our Kalhana says, like Kritayuga, the kingdom, the governance was like Kritayuga. Avanti devah patisme mandhateva vasundharam. Like Mandhata, Rama's predecessor, like Mandhata protected his kingdom, this Avantivarma was a good king. And when he died, though he was a Vishnu Bhakta, he had never showed it all his life. Because he didn't want to exhibit his Vishnu Bhakti, because Kashmiri was essentially Shiva, as we have seen. So, at the time he died, he exhibited it, he says. Kalhana brings it out very nicely. He says, he made people read Bhagavad Gita. Yenante Bhagavad Gita Shrinvata Bhavitatmana Dhyayata Vaishnavam Dhame Niramuchyata Jeevitam. He went to Vishnu's Vaikuntha. Pranante Pranjali Shuro Vaishnavattam Adarshayat. Like this he showed his Vishnu Bhakti at the time of his death. Then his son Shankaravarma, he started as a good king. He conquered many kingdoms like his predecessors. He set up Shankarapura. He set up Shankara Gaurisha temple, another famous temple which is seen even today, Shankara Gaurisha and Sugandhesha. Sugandha was the name of his wife. She also constructed Sugandhesha temple. Shankara Gaurisha temple and Sugandhesha temple are known very well in Kashmir. Even today the ruins are there. But later, the same king turned to evil ways. He allowed plunder of temples and towns. He records with great sorrow, Kalhana records, that he became laughing stock. Nimittam mandale bushmin savidyanam anadare. Like previous kings were encouraging scholars. Now here we find a king who was the source of disrespect for scholars. Savidyanam anadare. Rajnyam Pratapahano Nanyas Shankaravarmanaha. Like Shankaravarma, there was no other king who brought the post of the king, the status of the king to such a low level. He spurned the well-meant advice of his son Gopala Varma. Then we find a lot of kings having short tenures and palace intrigues and so on. And we move on to Taranga 6. Now this Taranga 5, every Taranga we have a Dhyana Shloka, mostly Ardhanarishwara Shiva. Taranga 5, Dhyana Shloka Ardhanarishwara Shiva, and Taranga 6, Dhyana Shloka, again Ardhanarishwara Shiva, were chanted today by the Kamakshi Seva Samiti very nicely. Similarly, Shiva Dhyana Shloka were chanted last time also by Kamakshi Seva Samiti from Bangalore. These are shlokas from Raja Tarangini from various Tarangas, Dhyana shlokas. Now, this Dhyana shloka, for example, I will go into it, though there's not much time, but I will go into it. This Dhyana shloka, it says very nicely, the indescribable charm of the snakes is in your tresses. Parvati tells Shiva, the indescribable charm of snakes is in your tresses, and the eye of the snake lights up with joy as if at the voice of the male kokila. Why it lights up? You have an extraordinary taste for these snakes as raps. The rays of light from your throat, which is like that of a male kokila, delight the eye of him whose vision serves for the sense of hearing. That is, snakes do not have shrotra. They don't have ears. They use eyes for seeing as well as hearing. Now, that is what Parvati says here. Now, they are able to see the light, and they are also able to hear your voice. Hear your voice, and they also see the light coming from your throat, which has that hala poison that is shining. So Parvati makes double reference, and she says, this is the beauty of your snake. So, but the tongue which says this, that is Parvati's tongue, Parvati does not have a separate tongue because this is Ardhanarishwara. That is what Kalhana says beautifully. So this tongue which says this also belongs to Shiva. So that tongue moving in unison, which articulates these words, which have different meanings, this sloka can also be interpreted in other ways. Let it protect us, he says. Similarly, in the next Taranga 6 sloka, which was also chanted today, he says, now we all know that Parvati was Aparna when she did the severe tapas in Himalaya to attain Shiva. Now he says, Kalhana says, it is not the glory resulting from the vow of subsistence on leaves and air, because initially she was living on only leaves, then she became Aparna. So he says, it is not from the vow of subsistence on leaves and air, because look, here are the bull and the serpent who have now been put outside, whose sole subsistence had been that. That means bull is living only on leaves and snake is living on air. Now both bull and snake have been left out. What does he mean by left out? Because Shiva was also doing penance without the bull and without the snakes. That is what he says. So you are leaving out leaves and air does not make any difference to Shiva. Because he has also left his bull and snake. That's the beauty he is bringing out. So then how Shiva was overcome by Parvati. Parvati's love alone. Through love alone, she secured half of the lot of the moving and non-moving objects. In this way, as she hears her praises from Deva women are praising like this. Sweet to the ear, may Aparna protect us. That is what that Dhyana Shloka was saying. Now we are moving further to Taranga 6. After a long time, a lot of kings we are now glossing over. After a long time, King Yashaskara, he was a very virtuous and efficient king. Kalhana loses no opportunity in praising him. Gramya Trishiparadhina Napashyan Rajamandiram Vipra Swadhyaya Samsaktaha Nakurvan Shastradharanam Na Vipraguravastha Magayanto Madiram Papuhu Na Tapasa Putradara Pashudhanyan Nadhokayan. He explains the beauty of the kingdom. Those who are in the villages doing agriculture never had to go to the city to go to see the king. There was no need for them. Brahmanas, Vipraha, Swadhyaya, Samsaktaha, they were always engaged in Swadhyaya, in Veda Parayana. They never had occasion to resort to arms. Na Kurvan Shastradharanam, they never had to fight. Na Vipraguravastha Magayanto Madiram Papuhu. The great Brahmana gurus, they were always singing Samagana, Samaveda, because Samaveda is also very popular in Kashmir. We all know it. So he's talking about it. Now, Vipragurava Samagayanto Madiram Papuhu, they never drank liquor because drinking liquor was very common in Kashmir. But these Brahmana gurus abstained. Natapasa Putradara Pashudhanyan Nadhokayan. Those who were doing tapas, they never developed any attachment for family, for sons, for wives, for cattle wealth, any of these mundane possessions. Like this, he and his ministers and his advisors were all great scholars. Kartantiko Bishak Sabhyo Gurur Mantri Purohitaha Dutasthyeyo Lekhako Va Natadabhut Apanditaha. The astrologer Kartantika, Bishak, the doctor, Sabhyaha, the counselor, Gurur, Mantri, Purohitaha, Dutaha, emissary, Stheyaha, judge, Lekhaka, clerk. Natadabhut Apanditaha. Nobody was a Pandita, everybody was a Pandita. The king adopted very ingenious method to resolve disputes. Now, one such litigation he is describing in great detail. I'll just give the essence of that dispute. Now, one of the citizens had gone out of the city, and before he went out of the city, he sold his house. And when he sold his house, in the sale deed, he wrote, Sopana Kopa Rahitam Griham Vikritam. That means the Griha, the house, without, Rahitam means without Sopana and Kopa, without the staircase and the well, I am selling. And he went out. And he left his wife in charge of the Sopana and Kopa, whatever was left of the house. Now, the fellow who purchased the house, he drove away his wife, he took hold of the Sopana and Kopa, the staircase and the well. And when the citizen came back, he found that his wife was living on alms. She was begging her way, and he was surprised. Then he went and protested to the king. Then, before you go to the king, there are several, all this Kalhana describes nicely, there are several levels of justice. All the levels of justice denied justice to him. They said, your sale deed does not say Sopana Kopa Rahita. It does not say that. It says Sopana Kopa Sahitam Griham Vikritam. House along with staircase and well. Now, this was not told to the man. This I am telling now because Kalhana records it, but this was not told to the litigant. Litigant was told, we have not found any record that the staircase and well belong to you. Now, I mean, perhaps in those days there was no question of keeping copies of sale deed and so on. Now the king was, the matter came to the king, and king was told very clearly by so many judges through whom this matter had passed, that this fellow is unnecessarily troubling you, send him out. But somehow the king felt that this fellow must be having some justice. So he adopted a very ingenious way of finding out the truth. And then he found the truth. The truth was the clerk in the registrar's office had written, instead of Sopana Kopa Rahita, he wrote Sopana Kopa Sahitam Griham Vikritam. Ra he made into Sa. Kalhana explains it nicely. So that sale deed was produced to the king. But king somehow came to know, by how he came to know, he is describing, I am not going into that. He adopted a very ingenious method of finding out how the clerk did this. And he punished the clerk, he punished the registrar, he punished the purchaser. He expelled the purchaser out of the kingdom and he restored the house to the seller. So like this, there are other nice incidents. Then many kings had very short tenures, all evil kings. Then we go to Taranga 7. Lot of petty-minded, vicious kings are described initially. Then we go to King Anantadeva, AD 1029. First Lohara dynasty in Kashmir. The queen gave gifts of cows, the queen herself. gave gifts of cows, gold, houses, precious stones, etc., on the occasion of consecration of Amareshwara, Amarnatha Linga to Brahmanas. She gave. She constructed matha with agraharas. Now, matha and agraharas have been constructed by almost all kings for Brahmanas. Patyarunamnapyagraharan pradadau Amareshware. In Amareshwara Kshetra, she constructed agraharas and gave to Patyurnamna in the name of her husband. Trishula Banalinga, the Pratishthascha Vinirmame, Trishula, Banalinga, etc. she established in various places, including Amarnath. Bhavabhakti Vratasnana Tyagashila Dibirgunai, Kritina Nantadevena, Munayopi Vinirjitaha. When Kalhana goes in praise of some king, he excels himself. He says, even Munis were excelled by this Anantadeva king, by his characteristics: Bhava Bhakti, Shiva Bhakti, Vrata, Snana, Tyaga, Shila, Adibir Gunaihi. These are the gunas. Now, in passing, he makes a reference to Vitastha river. Now, we will see about Vitastha river in greater detail in our future lecture. Vitastha is the lifeline of Kashmir, apart from Sindhu river. We have seen before, it is known as Jhelum nowadays. Vitastha is Parvati herself. We saw this earlier. Now, here he says, Vaitastena tuteyitoyena jatarastena yemritaha moksham gacchanta sandeham teyatha brahmavadinaha. Those who die with Vitastha water in their stomach, Vaitastena toyena jatarasthena yemritaha moksham gacchanti asandeham. Without doubt, they attain moksha. How? Teyatha brahmavadinaha. Like brahmavadis attain moksha, like jnanis, brahmajnanis attain moksha, these people also attain moksha. That is the greatness of Vitastha river. Now, this Anantadeva's son, Kalasha, became king. Anantadeva's son, Kalasha, became king. He was full of vice, but though he was full of vice, he gave a golden parasol for Vijayeshwara. His evil, look at the irony. He is giving golden parasol for Vijayeshwara, but his evil lieutenants, they break golden images of devatas. We saw some golden images referred earlier. Similarly, other kings also have made golden images. Now, all the golden vigrahas are broken for the sake of gold by some of his lieutenants. And then follows a very lengthy account of some very evil kings. Then we find King Ranaditya. Sajanan Daivata Krodham Tamraswabi Vipatanat Yesha Saranam Kartum Martandam Pranalabdhaye. Because he knew that in his own kingdom, Tamraswami's image was destroyed, he went to Martanda. He went to Sun Temple, Martanda, and he prayed to Martanda for saving his life. He gave a gold statue to Martanda, he died there. Then follows Utkarsha, then King Harsha. Harsha, even at the beginning, Kalhana says he was full of contradictions. He was charitable, at the same time he was plundering. He was kind, at the same time he was murderous. He was powerful, but not always obeyed by the subjects. His kingdom was very prosperous, but he was a great poet also. And even in the night when he used to hold his sabha, Raja Sabha, it used to look like Indra's Sabha. Kshapasthana sthitistasya rajya shakradhikashriyaha kasya vachaspater vacha vaktam karstyena shakyate. Who other than Vachaspati, who other than Brihaspati can describe the glory of his Sabha? Even in the night, mathas and agraharas were given to Brahmanas. Nitya sanketa basatihi dhanadasya yamasya cha ekam viharanaranyam danasya cha bhayasya cha. Dhanada and Yama, that is Kubera and Yama, were frequent visitors to his kingdom. Means what? Kubera, he showered wealth on his kingdom, and Yama came to his kingdom in the form of danda to those who were breaking the law. So his queen was also very munificent. She gave agraharas in Srinagar, Tripureshwara, etc. But later on, he came under the influence of very wicked ministers. He allowed plunder of temple gold, and even images of devatas. He died in very evil circumstances, killed by Lohara family generals. Then some more descriptions follow. Then we go to Taranga 8, the last Taranga. Again, a prayer to Parvati, he starts. Then he goes to King Uchchala, AD 1102, second Lohara dynasty. Though he didn't have rich resources like the earlier king, but he was a good king. He brought as much prosperity as possible to his citizens. When there was a big famine, he overcame the difficulty by supplying food grain from his own stores. Now, this kind of thing, supplying food grain by government, which we see now, was there even in those days. We have seen this even in earlier, another king during the famine time. उत्सवे शिवरात्र्यादौ जनतां शोषितधनैः ग्रहयोगे पयापूरैः महेन्द्रयव मेदिनी, like Indra showers rains when it is required. Similarly, he was showering wealth during Utsava time, like Shivaratri, etc. He gave beneficent gifts to all Brahmanas, all important occasions. He rebuilt Nandi Kshetra at Parihasapura. He built a new image of Parihasa Keshava. He restored Tribhuvana Swami. Now, why this question of restoring comes frequently? Because a lot of fight takes place, which we are not seeing. A lot of fight takes place, a lot of destruction takes place in Kashmir. A lot of destruction. That is why you have to go on rebuilding, temples being rebuilt. We see it frequently being mentioned by Kalhana. So, again, later on, the same king developed evil habits on the advice of evil ministers, and he was killed in insurrection in a very merciless manner. He was followed by some more kings. Then one king, Sushala, he comes up. Again, he faces a lot of infighting. One bhikshu who was king for a few days just before him during insurrection, that bhikshu was fighting him. Now, why I'm mentioning this is, the reason is this. He is describing that fight with Bhikshu. At that time, Bhikshu's army, he is describing how Bhikshu was protecting his army. Bhikshu is the rebel. Bhikshu is protecting his army. Now, how he is protecting? He is describing. Tata prabhritya bhut gopta purah paschatcha sarvada. Puraha paschatcha gopta. He was protecting his army on all sides. How he was protecting? Vishvedeva iva shraddhe. Yuddhe Bhikshur Mahabhataha. He was a very valiant fellow, Bhikshu. He was protecting his army like Vishvedevas in Shraddha. This is the example Kalhana gives. Look at the kind of examples he gives, kind of references, lot of references he makes to Puranas, to Indra, to various devatas, to Vishnu, to Shiva, to Parvati. Lot of references, lot of shlokas he refers to them. Even while describing evil things, he refers to Puranas. Now, Vishvedeva iva Shraddhe, like Vishvedeva protects Shraddha, he was protecting his kingdom. And his description of nature, Kalhana's description of nature, his expression of morals, we have not been able to sufficiently go into that. Just one example I want to give here. Dulitayis tapita jala vitastha patitayir grihaihi aurvoshma vedana klesham viveda saritam prabhoho. During this fighting, lot of houses were burnt, and those burnt houses were falling in Vitastha river. Now, Vitastha river, which is very cold, it is coming from the mountain, ice water, now was feeling intense heat because of the burning houses. Now, Vitastha river knew how ocean, which has submarine fire, how ocean would feel. This is the example he gives. Aurvoshma Vedana Klesham, the Klesha, the suffering because of the submarine fire. Saritam Prabhoho, ocean. How the ocean would feel. Now, Vitastha knew. Now, this is this kind of beautiful descriptions he gives here and there. Then there is an unending series of plotting and treason during this Sushala's time. So we will not go into all that. We will go to King Jayasimha. Jayasimha is the last king described by Kalhana. In fact, Kalhana stops because Kalhana died during Jayasimha's time. Pravartayataya satatya kratun vitatadakshinan vivahatirthayatradin mahitansha mahotsavan samvibhede sasambharaihi sakriya dharmacharinam tejobhihi kulasailanam oshadhiriva chandramaha. He was such a good king, virtuous king. He supplied stores, a lot of groceries and other food articles to his king, to his citizens, whenever they performed marriage or other ceremonies at their homes. Such a virtuous king. Like moon gives power to herbs, Oshadhis. That is the example he gives. Oshadhiriva chandramaha. He renovated temples. He gave scholars ownership of villages. He built tall buildings for scholars. He was a great Shiva devotee. He also took good care of Buddha Viharas. He set up temple of Rilhaneshwara, and due to insurrection, like other kings, he also faced a very long civil war. Very long civil war, very long, lengthy description. During that description, he gives a beautiful description of Aruna, the charioteer of Surya. Now, Arunodaya we say, when Aruna comes in the morning, then Surya follows. Now, the Aruna, the charioteer, does not have thighs. He is Anuru, without legs. Now, what does he need the legs for? He is always sitting as a charioteer. That's what Kalhana says. That like this, he says, Bhagavan creates disabilities and still he manages those disabilities. Even though he gives disabilities, he manages those disabilities so nicely that you don't feel the disability. So, Bhagavan is so gracious. He has to give you disability because of your past karma, but at the same time, he is so compassionate. Like that, he makes a beautiful reference here. Sahasrapadasya gate nimittam anurubhave aruna prajataha anurubhavepi tasya bhavishyat yadi padayugmam tatodikam tat kimiva karishyat. Even if he has padayugmam, the two legs, what is he going to do with it? Kimiva karishyat. Then Sharada temple is mentioned after a long time here. Parejyu Sharadam Drishtva Samprapto Garganandanaha Sankrandana Puri Paura Yodhair Bridhim Hatair Vyadhat. Some insurgents had come from Bengal, Gauda kingdom, and they entered Kashmir saying that they want to have darshan of Sharada Pitham. Now that was only an excuse. They were killed later on in a battle. Now, when during insurrection, how Jayasimha also faced a lot of insurrection, and when some of those rebels who were their own people, king's own people, they became rebels and they were imprisoned and brought before the king. But even then, he was very compassionate. He dealt with them with an equanimous mind. He says, beautifully he says, Najati vada vashiki kvasane natapam Shaityam himadri payasa vishata nachabdhihi Kashchid gabhira manasam satatam vishada kale pramoda samaye cha samonubhavaha. The sea is not heated by the boiling of submarine fire, nor does it become cool by the waters from the Himalayas. Similarly, the dignity of those even-minded people, it remains the same in grief as in pleasure. Their dignity is profound. That's what Gabhira Manasam, profound. Vitasthapuline badalinge tena niveshite jayate surdhani rodaha samprarudha vimuktadhihi. On the banks of Vitastha, he established Banalinga, brought from Narmada. It was shining like Avimukta, like Vishwanatha in Kashi. Avimukta is Vishwanatha Kshetra, Kashi. Mammeshwaram Tatavarnam Alasaram Chakarayaha Somatirtham Tathatoyo Dhyanam Udyotitantikam. He made a gold kalasha. Kalasha is called Amalaka in Sanskrit, another term for kalasha. He made a gold Amalaka, kalasha, for the shrine of Mammeshwara, Mamalakeshwara, which is lying in total ruins now. We saw the picture the other day. It had a gold kalasha done by this king en route to Amarnath. And he made the precincts of Somatirtha bright with ponds and garden. Udyanam, Udyateyantivam. Like this, a lot of kings have made so many things. Now, Tadiyam Kamatham Kaiva Tapodhana Vibhushitam Drishtva Nivartate Rudra Lokalokana Kautukam. The matha which was established by this king Jayasimha, if you see this matha, you will lose interest in going and seeing Kailasa. He says, this is the example he gives. Drishtva Nivartate Rudra Lokalokana Kautukam. The curiosity to see Rudra Loka will depart from you. Now, he is ending Raja Tarangini with this beautiful shloka. Godavari Saridivo Tumulais Tarangaihi Vakrais Putam Tapati Saptabirapatanti Srikanta Raja Vipulabhijanabhimadhyam Vishrantaye Vishati Raja Tarangini Yam Raja Tarangini Vishati. This Raja Tarangini now goes to rest. Vishrantaye Vishati. Now, what kind of rest? Like the impetuous Godavari river. Now, Godavari is not the Godavari which we know. Godavari river was also there in Kashmir according to the Kashmir history. We will see more of it in our future lecture. Lot of tirthas and kshetras in Kashmir we will see in our future lecture. Now, the impetuous Godavari goes with 7 mouths. It falls into the broad expanse of the ocean for final repose. Like this, I have also completed 7 chapters. Now I am completing the 8th chapter, which is the ocean. That is the example. The Raja Tarangini goes to rest in the ocean of the dynasty of the illustrious Srikanta Raja. Now, this brings us to the end of Raja Tarangini of Kalhana. Then it is followed by Raja Tarangini of Jona Raja Tarangini. He covers 300 years, 1148 to 1459, in 1000 verses. I am not going into that, but I just want to give a brief picture. He covers 14 Hindu kings and 9 Muslim kings because we all know in 13th, 14th century, Muslim rule came in. So he describes 14 Hindu kings and 9 Muslim kings. And while describing Hindu kings, he describes one Simhadeva, for example. One example I am giving. There are the tradition of building temples and being religious continued during that time. Simhadevo Nrsimhasya Simhena Gurunan Vitaha Pratishtham Simhalagnetha Dhyanodhare Karotkriti Karta Karyam Chalagnam Che Guru Simhasya Kovidaha Patiteyam Bhavetasya Simha Parampara. He built a temple for Narasimha. He says Karta Karyam Chalagnam Che. The king's name was Simhadeva. Karyam was building Narasimha temple. Everything had a Simha there. Lagnam also had a Simha Lagnam he did. Guru Simhasya Kovidaha. His Guru, Raja Guru was also a Simhadeva. So like this Simhadeva king, whenever he got up every day, he used to chant a shloka of Shiva as soon as he got up in the morning, every day. The shloka he gives here. Pavaka Nirmala Drishtim Vibudhaganir Archamana Padamaham Shashi Sakala Darshayutam Gaurisham Shankaram Vande. That was the shloka uttered by him. Now, out of the 9 Muslim kings, the last but first king, the 8th king, was Sikandar. That Sikandar was the notorious king. He was known as Butshikan, idol breaker. Butshikan means idol breaker. He saw to it that this Sikandar, this is all described by Jona Raja in his Jona Raja Tarangini. He described in beautiful Sanskrit shlokas how he destroyed temples of Chakradhara, Vijayeshwara at Avantipura, and even Martanda temple was destroyed. So many temples were destroyed. Most of the destruction which you find today was done by the Sikandar. And he had a Brahmana minister. This Sikandar had a Brahmana minister, Suhabhatta, who was more cruel than the king. He was more destructive than the king because he had enmity with Brahmanas. This kind of development you can see even today in our politics. So you can see that in Kashmir at that time. Sikandar's Brahmana minister was more cruel than Sikandar himself because he had a personal enmity with Brahmanas. He adopted very destructive approach. Then his son, Zainal Abidin, he is also described by Jonaraja. He was not so bad. He did not destroy any Hindu temples. He was tolerant of Hindu religion. Then it goes on like this. Then this is followed by Jaina Raja Tarangini by Srivara, another 60 years up to 1477. He covers 4 Muslim kings. In fact, one Muslim king, he says, was so fond of the earlier Muslim king, same Muslim king who was the son of Sikandar. Same Muslim king, he says, he was interested in 6 darshanas, 6 schools of philosophy, Uttamimamsa, Vedanta, etc. And he had scholars in his Sabha. And he gives all the details. And after that, this is followed by another Raja Tarangini by Prajabhatta and Shuka, which takes us another 100 years of Muslim rule till the conquest of Akbar. 10 Muslim kings he covers. Now, that brings me to the end of today's lecture. I close this lecture with my prostrations at the lotus feet of our Acharya, who made it possible for me to achieve this task impossible to achieve, Raja Tarangini. I thank all the viewers. I thank Madhyama Dharma Samajam. I thank Kanchi Matham. We have some more lectures to go. I welcome all of you to join me in the future lectures. Next week we have Bringisha Samhita, followed by Nila Mata Puranam. These are 2 Sthala Puranas out of documents entirely on Kashmir. Thank you very much. Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda Sri Jagadambikaye Jaya Jaya Sadguru Swaminaha Jai.
Sir, please unmute. Sir, please unmute.
Thank you, Sri Kananji, once again. We conclude the 5th session of our Kashmir Cultural Heritage Series. Kananji mentioned about packing Raja Tarangini in 1 or 2 hours and the efforts that he put in. It's really amazing. It's a great privilege for us listening and without any efforts for us. We are grateful to him. And when you visit Kashmir, you will see all the names he mentioned: Tulamula, Jeshtamata, Mamalla, Avantipura. And you can't help with tears flowing down if you see all those temples in ruins. Especially mentioned about Avantipura and Martanda temples. That is that is what you see in our fair also. And he also mentioned about water everywhere. That is a Dal Lake that you will also see in Kashmir. So all these are a great preparation for us to visit Kashmir in the near future. And we thank again Kannanji for all the efforts that he put in for packing all this in 2 sessions. The next 2 sessions, as he mentioned, Bringis Samhita and Nilamata Purana. That will be the next 2 Saturdays. And finally, we'll also be talking about Kashmir temples. We once again thank all our viewers and also Kanchi Math for streaming in our kamakodi.tv. And we have also added Twitter and Instagram. So it's all over now. And you will also see all our videos in YouTube. And please keep sending us your comments, how we can keep improving, as we are going to have very interesting more sessions later on. There are a lot of Kashmiri Pandits who will be joining our series, both from India and from the United States. So we thank you once again. And finally, as always, we have VDSP, Raja, who is helping us all behind the screen, streaming through all and helping us in a big way. Thank you once again. And we'll sign off now and see you next Saturday. Thank you.